to my live. I move this thing that's here. Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome to my live. My name is Elacia, and if you are new here, this is a work from home space. So basically, this is a space, a community that I'm trying to build right now for people who are interested in working from home or who currently work from home, because I feel like we need more spaces like this to prevent loneliness. We need more spaces like this to help with our own growth as people that work from home. Depending on what your work from home situation is, there are times that we can get stagnant and maybe not want to necessarily grow, and we miss opportunities because we don't take the time to look for spaces and ways to grow. But today's conversation is more of a chit chat because I really am trying to build more community. And the reason why I want to do this is because I'm just noticing with myself working from home for the last 10 years. I've been working from home since 2015, and it's been a journey. It has evolved a lot, and I've worked with different people and in different spaces. And what I find is that there are moments where it can get really lonely working from home because you're just heads down focused on what it is that you're doing. You don't have coworkers that are around you. Sometimes that's a good thing because you don't get caught up in office politics. But sometimes you want to have a person that you can bounce ideas off of, or people that you can have fun with, like you would at the office when there's office events or hanging out after work. And I can't say personally that I want to go back to a traditional work environment, but I do feel like that piece of community is missing. So for me, what I would like to do is to start building it myself. Because if I can't find it, you got to build it. And they say if you build it, they will come. And part of me building this community is showing up on these lives, even though this is not something that I naturally enjoy, because I would call myself an introvert. I'm trying not to put labels on myself, but I would say I have introverted tendencies where I like to kind of be to myself, which is why working from home has worked so well for me all these years, where I need a lot of time to think and meditate. But at the same time, even someone with introverted tendencies wants to be around other people, have conversations, share things that we're interested in, and just be able to grow together or just have fun together. So I've been thinking a lot about what this work from home community could look like. I think it would be cool to do things like have co-working sessions together, even though we may not necessarily want to have a conversation that day. Maybe you want to work side by side with other people. So just having an hour out your day where we're working on projects, focusing intensely on it, taking a few minutes to out of that focus time to chat and then get back to work. I was thinking about book clubs, coming together and growing in that way, reading a book and then coming in and chatting about the book and our thoughts and ideas on it. What if we even did like a fashion club, which sounds so silly, but what I was thinking about for that is, when you work from home, you get used to dressing very relaxed. Like you might have on a nice shirt and some pajama bottoms, just depending on the day and what you're feeling like. But I think sometimes it feels really good to be able to dress nicely, even though you're working from home. I personally am not a fashion girly, so getting together with other people that are into fashion or want to dress better or bringing in an expert to give us tips on how we can still stay comfortable but fashionable as work from home people. I don't know, there's a lot of ideas going in my mind about what this can look like, and I would love to hear any suggestions that any of you might have that are watching this video. Would you want to be in a work from home community like that, where you get together with people once, maybe twice a week, do different events, virtual events? But who knows? It could eventually turn into events where we do meetups in person. But initially, just virtual events where we share common interests, talk about common things, or just co work together. What other ideas do you have? So, just to share a little bit more about me, as I said in the beginning, my name is Elacia, and I've been working from home since 2015. I initially started working home because I wanted to be available for my kids. I was pregnant with my daughter at that time, and my son was 2 years old. He was going to daycare. I was working, and my husband was working. And I just knew that with our daughter on the way, that it really didn't make sense to put both kids in the daycare. I was missing out on a lot of time of seeing them grow and learning their personalities. So I decided to leave the job that I was working and just stay at home. But I also knew that I did not want to lose the skill sets that I had. I knew eventually that I would want to go back into the workplace. I knew that I wanted to be able to still bring in some money to pay for my own personal bills or the things that I wanted to do. I didn't want to put all of that on my husband. So I thought about different ways that I can make money still without abandoning the desire I had at that time to spend time with my kids. And just from a lot of online research and YouTubing, I learned about virtual assisting. This was my first exposure to the work from home world. This was something that seemed like I could do just based on my personality. Remember, I said I have the introverted tendencies. So I couldn't see myself being one of those internet gurus that get on camera like I'm doing now. But you see, we evolve over time. But at that time, I just wanted to be more somebody that was behind the scenes. And I felt like as a virtual assistant, I could help and support somebody with their growth using my administrative skills. I knew how to recruit because I had just left the staffing agency. I also knew how to write very well because way back in the day, well, way back in the day now, I was in the military, and part of what I did was writing. I was a journalist in the military. So I said, how can I take these different skills that I have and become a virtual assistant? So what I did is just start letting people know on Facebook, like, hey, I am now a virtual assistant. These are the skills that I have, and this is how I can help you. And from sharing that with people, I started getting clients. I started getting people reaching out and saying, hey, I'm interested, I need your help. And this was mainly people that were working in the online space doing podcasts when podcasts weren't so video based. This was people reaching out that were blogging at that time, and they didn't necessarily want to write the blogs, but they wanted that reach. They wanted someone that can help them with SEO. So they wanted to work with me. I also even came across someone who had a heavy report writing task that needed to be done for their business. And because it took up a lot of their time, because they were the owner of the business, they wanted to hire somebody to help them with the writing. And me having those writing skills, they decided to hire me, which was great because that built a long-term relationship with a business owner that I still have to this day. This has been a long time client for like 10 years. Can you believe that? And this all just came from me saying, I don't want to do traditional work, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I knew that that phase of my life, I wanted to be with my kids. And what happened is that it gave me a lot more flexibility. It didn't bring me the six figures that a lot of people were talking about at that time, but it gave me enough to be able to do the things that I wanted to do. And that was like the first phase of my work from home life. I would say the first 1 or 2 years. And from there, I started really just thinking more about my recruiting skills and how that can be more helpful, because this was during a time, 2016-17 timeframe, where the economy was pretty good and a lot of companies were hiring. So that gave me an opportunity to use my recruiting skills as leverage to reach out to different companies and clients that were willing to hire me to work remotely. And then I came across this one company that actually found me because of my LinkedIn profile, make sure I kept that up with my different skill sets and the things that I was doing. And they reached out to me, and I ended up getting another work from home opportunity that paid more than the work from home opportunities that I had in the past. So I'm now starting to see that this is something that can really grow and evolve. Like, people really can work from home doing something outside of the traditional office work. Remember, this was before 2020, when people weren't really thinking about working from home, remote work, location independence as much. It was more of a small segment of people. And if you knew, you knew. If it was something that you were really truly interested in, it was going to come across your desk. It was going to come to you. And I was one of those people that knew that this was something that I wanted to do. And I was willing to do the research and put the work in to do it. And so thankfully I did, because it grew from virtual assisting to becoming more of a service provider. And when I think about service providers, I think about someone that has a specialized skill where they can take that skill and provide a service for a client or customer. And your client and customers are typically entrepreneurs or small business owners, or someone that's trying to build something that needs your particular skill set to help them grow, because either they don't have the skill set themselves, they don't want to do it, they don't have the people on their team to be able to do it, so they will hire out. And not all people are necessarily in a place where they want to hire a regular W-2 employee, so they may reach out to freelancers or contractors, people that are marketing themselves as a specialist in a certain area. And for me at that time, I was marketing myself as a recruiter, or at least a sourcer. And the sourcer, they are the people that go out and they try to find the people that have the skills for certain jobs. And then the recruiter would be the one that talks to them and interviews them and moves them forward into the next interview process. So for this role that I got as a sourcer, I did that for like, I want to say a year and a half, maybe 2 years. And then eventually that role ended, that contract ended, and there was kind of like a lag in time. And I honestly can't even remember what I did in between that time. I'm assuming that I probably did some work for the lady that needed help with reports, but I started getting that recruiting bug again, and I started being more vocal about, okay, what other work from home jobs can I find? Okay, let's get a phone call in. So based on like the last job that I had as a sourcer, I made some connections there, and a lady reached out to me and she told me about another recruiting job that paid even more than the one that I had before. So that was really exciting, because this was probably the most I had ever got paid working from home. And I think a big reason that happened is because I was more specialized. And when you have a specialized skill, people are willing to pay you more for that, because you are giving them an expertise that they need that they don't necessarily have, and that expertise is helping them grow in some kind of way. So when you're working from home, I just always want you to think about the value that you have, the value that you can provide to people, because that is the thing that is going to help grow your income. Don't just go into it thinking about the money, which it's good to have money, trust me, because we got bills and all of that. Bills and desires and things that we want to do. So money is important. But at the same time, if you want to have consistent clients and if you want to bring your income up, you need to really be thinking about the value that you can provide. So at this new role, I came in as an actual recruiter, not just a sourcer, which was like me promoting myself and leveling up in my profession. And like I said, this was more money than I had ever got paid, and it wasn't even that many hours that I had to work. And this was more of a W-2 job. I was no longer in the work from home service provider role where I was working as 1099. And maybe if you're not familiar with W-2 and 1099, I'll do a video in the future about the two differences. But I was now a W-2 employee where there's benefits offered. Um, I was working in a part of a team, so that kind of helps with the loneliness. I was learning a lot. I was working in an industry that I never worked in before, and it was a really, really exciting time. And what was nice about it is that I was able to ask for more responsibilities and learn new things, doing things that I'd never done before outside of recruiting, looking more at human resources, roles and tasks and skills. And it was cool until it wasn't. I think I don't know if I got burnt out doing that or if it was just more so I did not feel worthy. Is that the words? Worthy of being someone in that human resources position. So then it felt like a lot of responsibility, a lot more responsibility than I had ever had. Because again, I was still identifying as the introverted person. And with human resources, there's still more of an extroverted type of version of yourself that you had to be. And I was just running into situations that I had never run into before. And I felt like I didn't necessarily have the knowledge at that time for what was needed to be done. So it didn't feel like a right fit for me anymore. So I kind of backed out of that position and talked about how I wanted to go more into copywriting because I, again, had that writer inside of me. I have been taking courses about copywriting because I'm very big on writing and marketing things in certain ways through your words. And since it was a marketing agency, they gave me an opportunity to do some copywriting work and move out of the role as a human resources person. And eventually that company, they just started laying people off, and I was one of the layoffs, unfortunately, but it was a good time. It was a good experience. I was a little bit sad, but I knew it was time to move on. But from there, like I mentioned, my long-term client, they reached out and had more projects for me to work on. And I was able to do that and eventually get on with them as a W-2 employee because I was working with them as a 1099 employee. And I'm enjoying that so far. But there's just something about me personally where there's a desire, a need, something drops in my spirit that says, okay, now it's time for you to grow. I've been doing this kind of work with this person for 10 years and it's great and I'm learning a lot. I still continue to learn a lot. But now I know that there's other areas that I want to grow in my work from home career. I don't know if when you think about work from home people, if you realize that it can actually be a career, it can be a profession, and there are different paths and twists and turns. It could be a journey if you allow it to be. You have to decide what directions you want to go. You have to decide what things you want to learn. And if you want to continue working from home, it's going to be really, really important for you to grow with the way that the economy is going. So right now, the big thing is AI. Are you a work from home person that's willing to learn AI and bring it to your clients and bring it to the workplaces? I know for me, I was really scared of AI. I didn't understand this thing called Chat GPT because that was my first introduction to AI was Chat GPT. But a lady sat down with me and showed me how it worked, and I said, wow, this is amazing. I guess this AI stuff isn't really that bad. And then I started digging into other AI tools and eventually taking AI courses, and I feel like it was worth it. Like, I'm glad that I asked the question and took the time to learn something new instead of getting stuck in old ways of doing something. So my goal today was to be on here for at least 5 to 10 minutes. We made it to 20 minutes, and I need to actually jump on to my work day. But I'm glad if you even stayed this long to listen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And if you are someone that's interested in working from home, or if you currently work at home, I would love to hear any questions, comments, suggestions you have in the comments, especially around how we can start building more community. I think it would be great to not be on here talking to myself every time I get on these lives, or when people come on here, it's actually people that are interested in working from home or currently working from home, and we can just share information together, learn from each other. But I know it's going to take me getting on here daily, even though it is something that I currently feel uncomfortable with, but we're growing. Isn't that the point? We're growing. So again, you'll see my face tomorrow, chatting it up with you about another work from home topic. And I do want to let you know about a resource I have for you. I have a work from home resource hub. And this is for those of you that are wanting to work from home, or you've been doing it for a while and you want to grow. And remember how I talked about, AI is a big thing right now. I'm curating in my resource hub different courses and information and tools and resources for things that are current, that are going to help you in your work from home career, or to get started in your work from home career. And right now, there are some courses that are in there by some awesome teachers, awesome instructors. I've taken these courses for AI and digital marketing. The way these instructors teach are great because they make it in a way that you can really grasp. And they also teach you things that if you want to add it to your work from home repertoire to help clients or just to build additional income for yourself, it is a great way to learn and implement. I think that's the only way that we get better is actually by implementing the things that we are learning. And that's why I'm here today, because I'm implementing some of the things I've learned about in the digital marketing courses, just as far as coming on lives. So I don't know. I don't know what your goals are working from home. If you're doing it now, if you're looking to do it in the future, whatever it is, I believe that you can do it. I've been doing it for the last 10 years. It just takes a matter of making decisions, starting where you are, because it's possible to just start with the skill set that you already have and to start building on there and getting comfortable with putting yourself out there, letting people know that you are available to work, or letting people know about the skills that you have so you can start getting clients or start getting companies reaching out to you for working for them as a remote worker or a service provider, virtual assistant, whatever your goals are. So for real, this time I'm about to let you all go. Thanks for stopping in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.